Good morning. Welcome again to Morning Devotions. Thank you again for our time together. And please let me just stop and say a big thank you to the mayor here in Tanawa, the vice mayor, the councilman, and all of the pastors, and Brother Manny, the head of the Ministerial Association. You worked so hard, and you were so kind, and you were so gracious. You've made this crusade a great blessing and an easy thing to do. So thank you again. Now today I want to take you back to the book of Galatians chapter 5. Galatians chapter 5, beginning with verse 7. Talks about people that have influence in your life. Paul said you were running well. In other words, you were living a good Christian life. Now, you're going to have to understand, there are people that seek to interfere when things are going well. He said you were running well. Your Christian life was growing. You were running the race well. Who hindered you from obeying the truth? This persuasion is not from him who calls you. A little leaven leavens the whole lump. I have confidence in the Lord that you will take no other view. So Paul said, listen, you need to understand there are some people who step in and hinder you when life is going great, when your Christian life is growing, when you're praying, you're reading your Bible, your ministry involved, everything is going great, and all of a sudden somebody comes in and hinders you. Now the Greek word here for hinder means like to break up the road in front of somebody, or like a car cutting you off on the road so that you can no longer keep going in the direction you were going. He said there are people that do this to you. And your spiritual life is doing so well, and then somebody comes and does this. You say, well, who would do that person? Well, it's a person who persuades you. Now the Greek word there means it's a person who has influence in your life. There are people that have influence in your life, maybe a boss, maybe a friend, maybe a relative, whatever. But these people come to you and everything is going great, and all of a sudden they just cut you off in your spiritual life. And everything stops growing and everything begins to go down. Now the fruit of this persuasion, this influence, is twofold. Number one, you stop obeying the truth. He said, who hindered you from obeying the truth? You stop obeying the truth and you start to do things that are wrong. You move away from the race that you're running, this good race that you're running following Jesus, and instead you start getting into sin. You stop obeying the truth. And even worse, he said, it's a leaven. Now this is the leaven of doctrine. And he said this leaven of doctrine works its way through your entire spiritual life. Now brothers and sisters, straight talk. If Jesus is Lord, then Jesus is Lord. You have to be careful about people who have influence in your life who want to cut you off from following Jesus. If Jesus is Lord, then he is the number one influence in your life.